It has been 22 days since Mauricio Pochettino took charge at Chelsea Football Club, and in that time we've played 2 friendly games against Wrexham and Brighton. What we've seen is that he has completely revitalised a tactical approach and introduced a new style of football that is attacking and uses our youthful squad of players. In this video we're going to go through 3 key things. 1, the core changes that Mauricio Pochettino has made to our tactical approach. 2, the players that have impressed in pre-season so far. And 3, make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to reveal 3 first team players that I think need to be worried ahead of the season. So let's get into the tactical approach. Last season we were predominantly playing a 5 at the back system with very high wing backs, 3 central defenders and 2 midfielders in the middle with wingers and then a centre forward. What we really struggled with last season was progressing the ball forward and actually getting the ball into the box in a meaningful way. Yes, we made chances, but were they chances that actually made a difference? What I want to do is look at the 2 games that we've had in pre-season thus far against Wrexham and Brighton. Look at how Poch has set up the team and see what we can learn and how he's changed the system from last season. So this was the 11 that started the game yesterday. We had Kepa in goal, we had Gusto on the right, we had Thiago Silva, Colwill and Chilwell at the back. We had Santos, Gallagher and Chukwuemeka in the middle of midfield. And we had Sterling and Kunku and Maatsen as our front 3. So we've been debating quite a lot in pre-season about whether this is going to be a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. And I think you can see with the setup that I put on screen and the way that I feel the game went yesterday, it was very much a 4-3-3. What you've seen is that Poch wants to control the middle of the pitch, and we saw that in evidence from the start of the game yesterday. The reason why we were trying to do that is to control the space and make sure that Brighton couldn't play through the lines as aggressively as they usually do. That's something that's key for their tactical approach. They want to move the ball from defence into the middle of midfield, make triangles, and then get the ball out wide and then into the box. That's their approach and something that they've seen great success with last season. The next big area that I wanted to look at was wing play. We saw a lot before the game talking about how Pochettino prefers inverted wingers, but we didn't see that at the start of this game. We saw Maatsen on the left and we saw Sterling on the right, both conventional wingers, and they were playing in that way. But I didn't really feel that they were hugging the wings. They were trying to get involved in play and actually make a difference in the final third and actually quite close to the striker. And that's something that Pochettino has obviously made a decision to do. He wants to get bodies in and around that number 9 so that they're not isolated. And that was something that we saw last year, that our number 9 was completely out in the dark. So I'm glad that we've moved into that approach and we're actually getting some support to our number 9. And I think to get 9 goals in the first 2 games is a real testament to show that we are really clicking in an attacking sense. And that's something that really concerned me at the end of last season, and I was particularly worried coming into pre-season to see how we'd fare. So sticking with the wings, let's look at our wing backs. It's an area that we did very well in yesterday. Chilwell and Gusto started the game and I thought they both had brilliant matches. Chilwell was bombing on down the wing and he got into the final third very often indeed. He almost had a chance where Webster came in and tackled him in the penalty area, which I thought was a brilliant run from him. And Gusto also on the right hand side had a fantastic game, and we'll talk more about him in a bit. What I was really excited by was the asymmetric system that we were playing with our wing backs, whereby if one pushed up, the other would tuck in and almost make a back 3. And we saw that very often with Chilwell. So Chilwell would bomb on, he would get in the final third, and then Gusto was sort of tucking in and sitting right next to Thiago Silva. And we looked a lot more solid when we had those sort of like that back 3 area nailed. So leading on from the wing backs, let's talk about vertical passing. It's something that we've missed for years at Chelsea. You see it with Jorginho, you saw it with Kovacic. They were passing sideways and bumping up their pass completion numbers. And we saw a very different approach yesterday. Colwill, for example, was one of the key proponents of this. He would pick up the ball in defence, he would wait for a press. If he was pressed, then obviously he'd pass the ball sideways or pass the ball into the middle of midfield. But if he wasn't pressed, then he would lace the ball forward, find a gap and either pick out Chilwell on the left hand side or look for Nkunku through the middle. And we saw quite a few of those vertical passes in the first half, and it's something that is going to make a massive difference next year for us. And my last key caller that I want to look at in terms of the tactical approach was the one-touch play. And you saw that with Jackson in the second half. He picked up the ball, he was able to make first-time passes to people like Mudryk. And we saw that from the goal that Mudryk scored. It was an amazing goal, first of all. What a finish. That's what I want to see, the quick passing. It makes a big difference and it allows us to play through the lines. And so that approach is going to be something that really sees us well this season. So I think what you're seeing now is that Poch has completely ripped up the system that we had last year and we're starting again. We are significantly faster and fitter and more aggressive in our attacking play. But with the youthful approach and the lack of signings that we've still got in midfield, I think what you're seeing is that we are sometimes bypassed in that area. And that's a key area for Winstanley and Stewart to actually start working now. And that's not to say that the players in there aren't making a difference right now. I mean, Santos for me was a quality addition yesterday. Cassidy has also looked more than adequate in that area. And I think both of them should stay around the squad. But I do think that we need a top quality midfielder to be able to sort of give us a solidity in front of the defence. Because quite frankly, conceding 3 goals a game is not something that I particularly want to be doing very often. And the age profile of our team is showing in the set piece area. So that's something that, again, we need to work on at the moment. You saw it with the first goal that Brighton scored. Billy Gilmour picks up the ball, ex-Chelsea player, whips it far post. Gusto gets beaten on the header, and then Welbeck, smacks it right in the roof of the net. So we really need to be improving in that set piece area, looking at how to mitigate the smaller and younger players that we have to be able to protect them and mean that we're not exposed. Look, I'm nitpicking there, and overall I was incredibly impressed with the output yesterday, but it's about the approach and the team play that we're instilling in the squad right now. And Poch has come in and done an amazing job. And yeah, I think we do really have the ability to challenge this year. And if we do give him the backing in the transfer window and we sign, let's say, 3 top quality players before the start of the season, I do really think that we can challenge this year. And so this tactical approach is showing that Chelsea are back. Before we get into the players that really impressed me yesterday, I just want to tell you very quickly about my clothing brand Aveste, the home of independent streetwear. Aveste was created because I had a problem. I couldn't find clothes online. So what we did is we found 30 different independent streetwear brands and put them all in one place. And this week I've got 3 amazing t-shirts for you. 1 is the Runner's High from Saul Athletics. 2 is the Beach Club tee from Tropic Goods. I'm wearing the white one today, and there's also an amazing green colour that you need to check out. And 3 is our favourite heavyweight tee from Solace. It's called Embrace. And we've got some serious deals on the site right now. So click the link in the description below or the QR code on screen now and let me know what you think. So let's look at who impressed in the last 2 games. The first person that we must shout out is Nicholas Jackson. What a player. He's got 4 goal contributions in the 2 games that we've played thus far. He's only played 90 minutes in that time. And what an impact he has made. I'm getting Didier Drogba vibes from this guy, and I know it might be early to shout that out, but quite frankly, I'm going to do it. What a player that we have on our hands. He's quick-footed, he is able to move the ball around in the area, he's able to link up play and bring other players in, he's unselfish, he's got pace, he's able to break the lines. I just think we've got such a quality player on our hands here, and we need to look after him. The way that he's playing at the moment, he has got to start for Chelsea in that game against Liverpool, our first game of the season. What a coup for our recruitment team. And I think it's just showing that they aren't really missing this summer with some of the signings they've made, because they have just been absolutely immense in the last 2 games. But now let's go on to the next choice, which was Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto made a very, very good impact yesterday. I thought he was really solid on the right wing, and he is a proper defender. You saw that with some of the slide tackles he did. He did a very, very good one with Matoma in the first half. And we've really needed that, right? We need a proper backup for Reece James. Reece has got a very bad injury record, and so we need to wrap him in cotton wool. And having Gusto there, who looks like a very capable backup, is really exciting for us. He looked very composed on the ball as well, and he was able to play his way out of danger quite often, which is very difficult against the Brighton press. And what this potentially allows us to do as well, which is a bit of a rogue one, is put Reece into the middle of midfield if we need to. He's played there before, he's one of our best players, and so could Poch move Reece into that area, especially if we don't end up signing Caicedo or another out-and-out defensive midfielder. So let's watch that space. I think Gusto was absolutely brilliant. Next, let's go on to the star boy that is Nkunku. What a player. He's technically outstanding. He holds the ball really well. His movement is really excellent. His finishing was, wow, absolutely brilliant. The goal that he scored against Wrexham, taking it around the goalkeeper, having to dig it out from behind him and still get it in the top bin. What a goal. And then also yesterday, the deft flick that he did against Brighton was absolutely stunning. We really do have a player there. I do think his best position is going to be in the number 10 role, and I'm really excited to see him and Jackson play in the same team together, because ultimately I think that's probably our best sort of front 2 partnership. And next up is Ben Chilwell, a man that has been so unlucky with injuries. I think we're all really, really excited to see him in the team, and he played very well yesterday. What I really liked about the way that Ben was playing yesterday was that he was pushing up and making a difference in the final third. We've talked about it already, but Colwell played that ball forward for him several times, and Ben was always the outball. Mykhailo Mudryk, what a player. Mauricio Pochettino has definitely put an arm around this guy, and he's installed a confidence that he didn't have last season. He's made an impact straight away. What I love about him is he's direct and he has pace. Last night he seemed slightly cooler on the ball as well, and so you saw that with the link up that he did with Jackson ahead of his amazing goal. He passes it on to Jackson, Jackson lays it off and smacks it, and I feel he deserves a lot of credit for that goal. He was the one that pulled it in from the left hand side, passed it to Jackson and then slapped it bottom bins. What a quality player, and I'm so glad that he got that first goal for Chelsea, and I think that will be the start of many more for us. Andre Santos, we have talked so much about signing players in midfield, and yet we've got this absolute wonder kid, 19 years old, Brazilian, starting for us against Brighton last night, and I feel like he held his own absolutely brilliantly. He is a pivot that we really need in the middle of midfield, and he's going to be very ample backup for Enzo. Could we see them in the team together? I don't know. I thought he made a real impact last night, and I feel like he's going to be in and around the squad. And one of the players that we've been waiting to see in a Chelsea shirt is Levi Colwill. He has an aura around him, doesn't he? And I just feel like he's one of those players that is going to represent England at a very high level, and he's going to be a talisman for Chelsea. I love the passing range that he has, and I love the way that he draws players onto him. He slows the game down when it needs to be slowed down, and it allows our midfielders and strikers to actually go and make a difference in the final third. And Poch came out after the game and said that he is staying with us, which is absolutely brilliant and will be music to the ears of every Chelsea fan. And the last player that I want to call out is Casadei. He has a chance now to be in the squad. The way that he holds onto the ball, the way that he drives at players, the way that he gets in the box is something that we've seen with players like Lamps. And I don't think it's too crazy to compare him to a young Lampard in the way that he plays. And so for me, yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's raw. He's got a lot to learn. He doesn't release the ball quickly as we need to sometimes, but he should be in the squad. He's earned it now. So he had, again, a very top quality game. He was involved in that Conor Gallagher goal where he drove into the box and it fell to Jackson and then to Gallagher and he slapped the ball in the net. So yeah, I think Casadei should be in and around the squad, and I think he's played his way in. Quite a lot of positives yesterday and some players that were really, really impressive. And yeah, it's early in pre-season. We've played Wrexham and Brighton. Brighton are a quality team. They're in the Europa League next year. And so that was a stern test last night. And we saw some players really felt that test. And they weren't up to speed in the same way that they should be. And yeah, for some of them, it's early on in pre-season. But you're expecting some of the more experienced players to make an impact for us. And I'm going to pick out 3 players that didn't perform for me as well as they could have done last night. And I'm going to explain why Poch could move away from playing them for the majority of next season and why they might be concerned about their Chelsea futures. Raheem Sterling. He is going to be under immense pressure now by our talented and hungry young players like Mudryk, like Noni Madueke, and even people like Angelo Gabriel. And if Raheem isn't at the top of his game, he could find himself falling down the pecking order quite quickly with these talented players coming through. He cannot miss golden opportunities anymore. There's going to be so much pressure now to get the ball in the back of the net. And if we do squander chances in the way that, let's be honest, Sterling does, then he's going to be in real trouble. He has got to make goal contributions in games. He is one of our most experienced players. He's one of our biggest money signings still left at the club. And so he must bring players with him in games, or he's got to do it himself. And let's be honest, there are rumours constantly. Saudi Arabia is not going away. We're hearing it all the time that there could be bids coming through. And would he be tempted by a big money offer? I'm not sure. Everything that he's said thus far is that he wants to stay at Chelsea. And all the noises that I'm hearing around the club is that he probably will stay. But if an offer does come through, as Chelsea fans, are we happy to see him go? I would keep him for one more season. We need the squad depth, and he is quality. But let's see what happens. How many times have we talked about Kepa Arrizabalaga? Is this guy good enough to be our number one this season? I'm not sure. We've talked quite a lot about the potential of signing a guy that could compete with Kepa. I feel that we need to get that goalie in as soon as possible. We can't go into the season having him as the clear number one, Bettinelli and Selena as the other goalkeeping options. It's just not going to be good enough for us. And so after yesterday, I feel that became even clearer for me that we need to find someone that is at least a number 2 that's going to be challenging him. Because if we don't, we're going to be having the same discussions over and over again about Kepa leaking goals and costing us games. And I think we're all bored of that debate, to be fair. And you saw it in the game yesterday. Undav slots it bottom corner around Kepa and his positioning was just off. And we can't keep going through this with him. And this guy was wearing the captain's armband in the second half yesterday. He needs to step up and really take ownership of that position now. Otherwise, there will be competition that comes in. The board and the recruitment team are not going to sit around and watch us have another failure in terms of that area. And yeah, he's on huge wages, and yes, we spent a load of money for him, but we can still invest in that area and actually provide some real competition, and that's the way that it's going to have to go. What I like is that Poch has obviously given him his confidence and backed him, at least publicly. And so we've got to do the same. But I just think that Kepa is one of those players that his time might be up at Chelsea in the long term, and we really need to get someone in that can compete. And do we really feel that this guy is a top 4 goalkeeper? Because I'm not sure anymore. And this one is going to hurt. He's an academy product. He gives everything for the team. It's Conor Gallagher. He played 90 minutes yesterday. He got a goal. He was in that 8 position. He was up and down the pitch. He was making tackles. He does what we expect Conor Gallagher to do. He was busy, energetic. But the rumours aren't going away. We keep hearing about West Ham. We hear about Spurs. We hear that the board would be open to letting him go. They were certainly open for it in January. And let's be honest, these Kudus rumours aren't going away. And so if we do sign him, is there even a place for Conor Gallagher in the squad anymore? I'm not sure. Personally, I'd keep him, but I'm not sure what's going to happen by the end of the window. What do you think? Would you want him to stay? Let me know in the comments below. It's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of the new signings are the ones that are really impressing us thus far. And I feel some of the squad that's still left over from the previous regime are going to be the ones that really pay the price in terms of leaving the club. We've had a massive clear out already. Could the clear out still be ongoing? Some of the existing players probably are looking over their shoulder, and we probably still have 3 to 4 signings to make before the start of the season. All I do know is that Pochettino has got us playing in a way that we simply wouldn't have been able to with the tactical approach and the personnel that we had last season. And yeah, this guy is a tactical genius. He has created a new system that is working for us at Chelsea, and we're scoring goals. Young players are playing well. He's improving players already. You can see that. There is real reason for us to be excited. I might have to change my predictions in terms of where we're going to finish in the league. I said 5th would be a good result. After the last 2 games, maybe we should be going for 3rd. Maybe we should be going for 2nd. Let's be honest, City are probably going to win it. So 2nd would probably be a 1st place for us. What do you think? Do you think we're going to finish higher than 4th this season? And yeah, I can't lie, I'm pretty gassed about the season now. And if you did enjoy this video, I made a video reviewing our squad and the 25 players that we need to have for that first game against Liverpool. I looked at players that we need to sign, I looked at players we need to keep, I looked at players we need to loan, and I looked at a few players that we need to sell as well. So we get that 25-man squad. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. I've got loads more coming. If you enjoyed this video, please do sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.